Have you ever noticed how some men walk into a room and without even saying a word, women immediately respect them? Meanwhile, others talk too much, try too hard, and still get ignored. This isn't about money, looks, or social status. It's about how you carry yourself, how you react, and the energy you project. Women instinctively respect certain men, not because they demand it, but because they naturally embody the Stoic principles of masculinity, self-control, and unshakable confidence. If you're tired of being overlooked or treated like an option, stay until the end. These 7 Stoic alpha traits will change how women see you forever. And if you are serious about leveling up, hit that subscribe button and become part of the Stoic Alpha movement. Trait number 1, unshakable emotional control. The fastest way to lose a woman's respect, overreacting. Women constantly test men, not always intentionally, but they do. It's in their nature. They want to see if you're truly grounded and confident, or if you'll fold under pressure. This isn't manipulation, it's biology. A woman's subconscious mind is wired to seek out strong, stable, and emotionally secure men. Just as a leader is tested before being followed, a man must prove his emotional strength before he is respected. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will build strength." A woman might say something to provoke a reaction, ignore your message to see if you'll chase, or flirt with another man in front of you. Why? Because she is looking for proof of your emotional stability. If you react with anger, insecurity, or desperation, you signal that you are weak, ruled by your emotions rather than in control of them. But a Stoic man? He remains composed, unshaken, and in control of himself. He understands that no external event, not a woman's words, not her actions, has the power to dictate his emotions unless he allows it. Epictetus, another great Stoic, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is what separates weak men from high-value men. A woman respects the man who can absorb pressure without breaking, who can maintain his frame even when tested. So the next time a woman tries to get under your skin, remember, it's a test you're not supposed to react to. The moment you stay calm, indifferent, and unfazed, she will instantly see you differently. Respect is earned through composure. So, control your emotions and get instant respect. Trait number 2, the power of silence and mystery. Most men talk too much. They overshare, try to impress, or explain themselves when they don't need to. But high-value men understand the power of silence. Why does this matter? Because mystery creates intrigue, respect, and attraction, and mystery is built through strategic silence. Think about the most powerful figures in history: Julius Caesar, Marcus Aurelius, or even modern-day leaders. They never wasted words. They spoke when necessary, and when they did, people listened. Stoic philosophy teaches us that restraint in speech is a sign of inner strength. The Stoic philosopher Zeno once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. When you talk less, you give more value to your words." A woman respects a man who doesn't reveal everything about himself immediately, who lets her invest in the conversation, who isn't desperate for validation. When you are silent at the right moments, you become unpredictable, and unpredictability commands attention. But most men, They think if they keep talking, if they explain themselves, if they prove their worth through words, they'll gain respect. Wrong. Too much talking kills the attraction. It makes you seem insecure, eager to please, and easy to figure out. The Stoic alpha embraces silence as a weapon. He listens more than he speaks, thinks before he responds, and never feels the need to explain himself to gain approval. Next time you're in a conversation, pause. Let others fill the silence. Let her wonder about you. Let her earn your words, because in the end, a man of few words is a man of great influence. Trait number 3, you set boundaries and enforce them. A man without boundaries is a man without respect, period. Think about it. When you allow people to cross your limits without consequences, what message are you sending? That your time, energy, and self-worth are negotiable. That you value their approval more than your own self-respect. Women, like everyone else, will test your boundaries, not necessarily to manipulate you, but to see if you truly respect yourself. If you let them walk all over you, they lose respect for you instantly. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "If you don't know what port you're sailing to, no wind is favorable." In relationships, your boundaries are your destination. If you don't establish them, you'll be tossed around by others' expectations, losing yourself in the process. Many men fear enforcing boundaries because they think they'll lose the woman, but here's the truth. When you enforce boundaries, you gain respect. A woman respects a man who doesn't tolerate disrespect, who calmly but firmly says no when something crosses his line, who walks away when his standards aren't met, because a man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. So the next time someone oversteps your limits, don't argue, don't explain, just act. Because boundaries aren't declared, they're enforced. Remember, a man who respects himself teaches others to do the same. Trait number 4, indifference to validation. Most men crave validation, whether from women, friends, or society. They seek approval through likes, compliments, or constant reassurance. But here's the truth. The moment you stop seeking validation, you start commanding respect. Women instinctively respect a man who doesn't need their approval to feel worthy. Why? Because a high-value man validates himself. His confidence isn't built on external praise. It comes from within. Stoicism teaches us to be self-sufficient in our mindset. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means your worth isn't determined by others, it's determined by you. When a man chases validation, he unknowingly lowers his value. A woman sees this and thinks, if he needs my approval, he must not be that strong. But when a man is indifferent to validation, when he moves through life focused on his purpose, he instantly becomes more attractive. A Stoic man doesn't seek attention. He becomes the kind of man who naturally draws attention without trying. He doesn't fish for compliments or change his personality to please others. And that quiet self-assurance, it's magnetic. So stop looking outward for validation. Validate yourself, focus on your mission, and watch how women and the world start respecting you. Remember, the less you seek approval, the more you get respected. Trait number 5, you control your desires. Most men are slaves to their desires, chasing women, money, pleasure, and distractions. But a man who controls his desires, he controls his destiny. Why does this matter? Because self-control is power. A man who can't control his urges is easy to manipulate. Women, society, and even his own emotions will dictate his actions. But a Stoic man, he chooses discipline over indulgence, purpose over pleasure. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the control of desire." In other words, the less you're controlled by temptations, the freer and stronger you become. Women respect a man who isn't ruled by lust, who doesn't chase, who values his time and energy over meaningless pursuits, a man who isn't impressed by beauty alone but by character, intelligence, and depth.
Contrast that with the weak man, the one who jumps at every opportunity for instant gratification. He texts too much, tries too hard, and loses himself chasing what doesn't truly matter. And in doing so, he loses respect. A high-value man is different. He is in control of his emotions, his time, and most importantly, his desires. He doesn't react impulsively. He decides, and that level of control, it commands instant respect. Remember, master your desires, master your life. Trait 3: you are comfortable with discomfort. Weak men avoid discomfort. They chase easy pleasures, avoid challenges, and seek constant convenience. But strong men, they embrace discomfort because they know growth only happens through struggle. Women instinctively respect a man who can handle pressure, endure hardship, and thrive in discomfort. Why? Because it signals strength, resilience, and unshakable confidence. The Stoics trained themselves to embrace discomfort as a path to greatness. Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. The harder the challenge, the sharper you become." Think about it. Who commands more respect? The man who quits when things get tough, or the one who keeps moving forward no matter what? The one who complains about life, or the one who faces adversity with a calm, focused mind? Women test men by throwing them into situations that require emotional strength. If you react with frustration or self-pity, you fail the test. But if you remain composed, unaffected, and push through, that's when respect is earned. A true Stoic man understands that comfort breeds weakness. He willingly steps into challenges, whether it's physical hardship, emotional struggles, or financial setbacks. He sees pain as a teacher, not an enemy. So don't avoid discomfort. Seek it, train your body, challenge your mind, control your emotions. Because the man who embraces hardship, remember, the man who masters discomfort becomes unstoppable. Trait number 7, you don't fear losing anyone. Most men fear losing people, whether it's a woman, friends, or social status. They cling, they chase, they overthink. But here's the truth. The moment you stop fearing loss, you become truly powerful. Why? Because neediness repels, confidence attracts. A man who fears losing someone places his value in others, not in himself, and women can sense this instantly. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus taught, never depend on the admiration of others. There is no strength in it. In other words, if your happiness depends on someone else staying in your life, you've already lost. Women don't respect a man who begs for their attention. They respect the man who is self-sufficient, emotionally strong, and willing to walk away. Think about dating. Have you ever noticed that the men who care the least seem to attract the most? That's because detachment is power. A man who isn't afraid to lose a woman is a man who naturally keeps her interested. Women are drawn to mystery and challenge. If you're always available, always seeking her approval, always afraid of losing her,
Where's the challenge? Where's the excitement? But when you live by the Stoic mindset, if she stays, great. If she leaves, even better. You become the kind of man who is impossible to ignore. The most attractive men don't chase. They build, they grow, they lead, and the right people naturally stay in their lives. So if someone pulls away from you, don't react. Don't chase, just keep moving forward, because the man who doesn't fear loss becomes irreplaceable. Conclusion. Respect isn't something you ask for, it's something you command. And the truth is, women, people, and even life itself will test you. But when you embody these Stoic traits, when you stay calm under pressure, control your desires, and never fear losing anyone, you become the kind of man that women admire, men respect, and the world takes seriously. Now the question is, are you ready to level up? Are you ready to become the kind of man who walks into a room and instantly commands respect? If you found value in this, hit that like button, because the more men who learn these principles, the stronger we become. Subscribe to Stoic Alpha and turn on notifications so you never miss a lesson on high-value masculinity, psychology, and dating dynamics. And before you go, drop a comment below. Which of these traits do you already embody, and which one do you need to work on? Let's build a community of men who elevate, not chase.